The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Good evening, this is TV1 News. I'm Maricela Kelleton.
And I am Rex Litter. Join me later in the sports segment.
In this edition, Arab wants independence, TISA granted bank status, and concerns raised on Connect PNG for Central. An issue that has been hovering in the relationship between the PNG government and the government for the autonomous region of Bougainville is the issue of where are we going now after the referendum. Prime Minister James Marape has always advocated that the issue of Bougainville and independence is a sensitive issue that must be handled with great care. Hence, the creation of Bougainville Affairs Ministry and the Bougainville government.
Theonila Roka Matbob, member for Euro constituency in the autonomous region of Bougainville, was in Medang recently for the post-election Women's Forum and shared her view of Bougainville's efforts towards achieving independence. The Minister for Community Government in the autonomous Bougainville government would like the PNG government to come out clear on its intentions for Bougainville.
We need a lot of our Papua New Guinean politicians to understand the technicalities and the language of transition. Because at the moment, one thing that when it comes to political literacy, it is really important to note that there is no such language as drawdown of powers. And the other one is to make a very clear, the national government has to make its intention clearly known.
Minister Roka Matbob said the Ministry of Community Government is the biggest department and focuses on ticking off 4 requirements, especially for nations aspiring to be independent. They've only been focused on convincing the national government, but have never ticked off international boxes that come under an international convention or the Montevideo Convention of 1930. Roka Matbob said that there are 4 key areas: a defined territory, a permanent population, a government system, and the capacity to conduct international relations.
We are trying to make sure that we tick off the international boxes so that when ratification comes, but you have no choice but to ratify the fact that the second-tier government has already met the international standards. And the next phase after identifying all of this is we're going to now bring in very soon we're going to be appointing a boundaries commissioner. Now, the next phase that we're going to work towards now is to start drafting all the acts, the laws, the legislations, to make sure that we ground everything. And then that's it. We don't need anything anymore.
The minister states that as far as they're concerned, they're working towards ticking off all these requirements before 2027, where they intend to rectify and table the declarations.
The Prime Minister came out and he said that Bougainville is the biggest challenge to PNG. It's not a new story. We've always been the biggest problem to PNG only because we're not comfortable. It creates this sea of uncertainty when, the referendum results that overwhelmingly the people voted for 97.7%. We do not want to go into another cold war or misunderstanding only because the people are persistent to go. And you cannot still keep them in the umbilical, without cutting the umbilical cord by giving excuses of economic recovery.
Roka Matbob added that the people of Bougainville have spoken through the referendum. 97.7% want independence. Salome Vincent, TV1 News.
The PNG Media Council and the Media Development Initiative, a project arm of the Australian Broadcasting Commission, funded by the PNG Australia Partnership, recently visited Medan Province to source out opinions from women journalists in the mainstream media for the creation of an initiative called Women in Media. The initiative would not only be a platform to address challenges faced by female journalists, but importantly for networking, building content professionalism, and training and upskilling of women in the media.
The PNG Media Council has backtracked in its functions and roles and is currently making a huge overhaul of its administration in order to bounce back in assuming its principal role again. Joyce Higgins, Project Manager of Media Development Initiative, stated that in order for the Council to run its agendas, there has to be a formal structure in place to achieve its goals.
If there's no membership base, if there's no structure for a membership base and fee payments and those types of things to fund it, the council will be tussle. Everything is just up there.
This is where the MDI comes in to assist the Media Council to deliver the Women in Media for Papua New Guinea initiative. This concept is deemed compulsory to create a conducive and fair playing field for women currently in the media industry and upcoming women journalists. The planned initiative will be a network platform where women journalists can be able to gain assistance in networking, building content, professionalism, training, upskilling, and other support that the Council would like to implement. Belinda Koras, Secretary of the Media Council, says there is a need to implement the Women in Media concept. She shared that while attending a regional meet, she encountered a meeting with the Women in Media for Fiji. Ms. Koras said although it is a small island nation, Fiji women in the media industry face similar challenges as women in the media in PNG, and while these challenges may vary, in PNG it is more pronounced.
Our challenges were talk long no panel discussion adis now sem similar one te Yumi but me pili mo sem Yumi o sem one big island in the Pacific or challenges Yumi or Mary logo pine story me looking mo sem big plan mo yet lo time mo logo talk lo front mentoring program long to good plan like they have the networking so Mary outside go ken na halving gen or new plan or upcoming genos go like come out lo industry too. So
these partners have been consulting with women journalists to tally opinions on whether this concept can be realized. And if it can, the next step is to have it affiliate to the Women in Media in Australia. So far, most of the women in the industry who have been consulted support the concept, some claiming it was overdue. Salome Vincent, TVWAN News.
With the recent ongoing publicity in the health division nationwide through the media platforms, the Modilon General Hospital's case is also no different. On Tuesday, its nurses hosted an in-house forum inviting the administration to address the issues within 14 days. The forum called upon the Acting Chief Executive Officer and Director of Public Health, Dr. Martin Damien, and Senior Executive Management of the hospital to receive their reform agendas and address the issues. Standing with them were medical and clinical staff who also want to see positive changes in management.
Medical and clinical staff of Modilon General Hospital in Medang are demanding better working conditions and positive change to the provincial facility. They expressed this in a 14-day ultimatum to hospital management on Tuesday. Sister Josephine Maihua, acting manager for nursing services, states that these issues are not new. She called on the management to address them so staff can better serve patients.
We want change. Yes. So was you been sub-clinician before? You feel in pain or say, clinician, now you sit down and say, yeah, make a sentence. No excuse. Deal with it. Our demands is there. Immediately address.
The matters addressed in the 14-day ultimatum include short-term contract nurses who withdrew services as of Friday, June 2, 2023, due to the delay of getting them on board the LESCO payroll. Also, the delay in the selection process for permanent appointments, discrimination of SDC nurses of cohort 1 and 2 who have been put off from pay for 7 months. The critical shortage of drugs and consumables, which is an ongoing issue, cancellation of surgeries, nurses seeking assistance from other health facilities for IV fluids, and what risk management plans are in place to keep services functioning. Sister Maihua said patients feel the full impact of these shortfalls when they are denied affordable basic health care. The 14-day ultimatum would mean a scale down of services.
Our core business is patient care. Yes. And we are talking about patient care. You're passing the buck. A good manager doesn't pass the buck. You don't say it's a legacy issue. The legacy issue, yes. But you're in the office now. You take it on. You address it.
Director Public Health Dr. Martin Diamond assured the aggrieved staff he would address their concerns. He has briefed CEO Fidelis Waitma also of the matters at hand.
Cyprus shortages, it's a big, long list. If we are going to procure, we are going to use all our funds. Some operations, so we are risking, yes, managers, SSCM, we need to prioritize things, as you have said already. Medical drugs, consumables are priorities.
Salome Vincent, TVWAN News.
Teachers Savings and Loan Society is approaching its 50th anniversary. As the largest and most successful credit union in PNG and in the South Pacific, TISA has been granted a provisional license to operate as a bank.
In recognition of turning 50, Teachers Savings and Loan Society Limited has been granted a provisional license to become a bank. TISA Group CEO Michael Koizen acknowledged members of TISA for their support and trust in the board and management for seeing that TISA delivered results over the 50 years it has served its members.
It is the largest credit union in Papua New Guinea and in the South Pacific. And it has ambitions to become a bank that's public. The Bank of PNG has granted a provisional banking license, and the society is now working through achieving some of the operational requirements before we open up as a bank.
Koizen said it is important that all stakeholders in business community and the government, because the country needs another bank. Koizen added that 80% of the population in rural areas are unbanked and underbanked, and someone needs to reach out to the people and serve them.
Banking has been in Papua New Guinea for over 100 years, and yet 80% of our people don't have access to banking. 70% of households in Papua New Guinea have access to mobile phones, and yet 80% of our people don't have bank accounts. Now that's a significant problem, and TISA will take the challenge.
TISA aims to open the bank in 6 to 7 months. At the moment, TISA is looking at 18 branch locations and aim to open one each in Hela, Jiwaka and Kerama.
Teachers Savings and Loan Society announced an additional 2% one-off special bonus interest to be paid to members of UMI account. This additional bonus interest is in commemoration of TISA's 50th anniversary.
In commemoration of Teachers Savings and Loan Society Limited's 50th anniversary, an additional 2% one-off special bonus interest totaling up to 6.71 million kina is to be paid to members of UMI account was announced today. According to Chairman of TISA, Gabriel Tai, this brings the total addition interest paid to TISA members for the financial year 2022 to a record 9%.
This 2% bonus will be paid to all TISA members' UMI accounts tonight. Members can access this interest in the UMI card accounts tomorrow. As I mentioned in my last announcement, Youth Society performed very well in 2022. We made a profit of after tax 76.49 million kina. This was 24% higher than 2021.
Chairman Tai added that this is the biggest additional interest TISA has ever paid. Tai emphasized that 7% was paid on the 25th of May 2023, and today TISA will pay an additional bonus of 2% interest.
On behalf of my board and the management of TISA, I would like to thank all our loyal TISA members for your continued support. Thank you for trusting the board. TISA remains committed to providing affordable financial products, quality customer service, and paying better returns to you, our valuable members, and management to prudently manage your company and to deliver affordable products and services and reasonable returns to you.
About 63,000 plus members are a part of TISA.
With the aim to operate as a bank, TISA is cautious by ensuring all risks are managed. Group CEO Michael Coyson said issues experienced by BSP and its members has TISA preparing and planning well before it launches as a bank.
The BSP experience has taught us to be cautious and to ensure that we manage all our risks. And preparation and planning is so important to implementation and migration of banking systems. So right now we are in full steam in ensuring that system integration testing is done properly and completely, and that user acceptance testing is done properly and completely, and that our people are trained well so they can assist our customers to use the system well.
This is TVWAN News. After the break, Connect PNG commended and FPDA partners with OTDF.
It was during and after COVID that really motivated me to want to take up life insurance. I think savings is very important, and I think One Talk Delight provides a disciplined approach to savings, and it's a good investment to want to think about the future, because it's always nice to have plans for what you want to do later on.
With you for life.
Enjoy life when we're working together, making happy memories that last forever. Hot in talk, young or old, as calories, family meal with home. We'll bring out the smiles, cause it's our favorite minds. Tennessee Cola, scale rise, long scale price. Tennessee Cola, scale rise, long scale price. Amber, you like it?
Hiya, Mama.
You wait then, but me add him special flavor.
Put in more flavor, put in more taste. Magic kakaruki up a big smile on face. Time for Kim chicken, a great fumu too. Sip, sip, the mumu, yes, magic on you.
Magic, the taste PNG loves.
The Toyota JD Hiace bus comes in 14 and 15-seater high-roof luxury model powered by 2.8 liters JD engine for optimal performance output, fuel efficiency and quietness, designed with improved safety features and easy maneuverability for tire steering angle. The Hiace lift suspension and annular frame structure is opted for smooth ride, comfort and safety. Experience the ride on the Hiace bus and experience the Hiace pride, the bus that exceeds all expectations.
Right across the nation, we eat snacks crackers. Emi trupla. All get a young planalapun, only like him snacks crackers. Only make him here, no PNG, one-time lay biscuit company. It's crunchy and tasty. It's irresistible.
They got support on the outside in Messi Tamanga. He has the Western Clydesdales' first try. Maria with a miracle pass on the outside to Benji Pott. Moses stands him up, goes himself, scores and wins it for Parramatta.
Welcome back. Central Province Governor Rufino Peter has raised concerns regarding the social impacts of the Connect PNG program in the Central Province and the Greater Southern Region. Concerns raised following the ministerial statement from the Office of the Minister of Works and Highway on the Connect PNG program, financing and implementation. Central Province Governor Rufino Peter, following the ministerial statement from the Office of the Minister of Works and Highway on the Connect PNG program financing and implementation, raised concerns regarding the social impacts of the Connect PNG program in the Central Province and the Greater Southern Region.
As the Governor for Central Province, I do have concerns as well. From the point of view that if this road is connected, the missing link, well, when it's connected, the social impact on the southern region and especially central is going to be significant. And within Central Province, we're not ready for the social impact, negative social impact.
Governor Peter also appealed to the government to maintain existing national highways that fall into the Connect PNG program and upgrading provincial roads to the status and condition of national highways before connecting the missing links.
Let's make sure that the roads, national highways and provincial roads, and even the smaller roads into the hinterlands where there is significant economic potential that we haven't touched yet, because we don't have the budget to do that. Once we sort that out, the social impact of connecting these roads will be beneficial for everyone.
Governor Peter says while the economic impact is significant and favorable, the social impact on the people of Central Province and the Southern Region is something of great concern. Meantime, other members of Parliament have commended the Connect PNG program. Health Minister Dr. Lino Tom and Deputy Prime Minister John Rosso emphasized the significant positive outcomes stemming from the implementation and financing of the program. Minister for Health Dr. Lino Tom has thanked the government for making the Connect PNG program a flagship program.
Resources must be distributed equitably. And if you look at it, I think to provide a fair platform on which services can be distributed equitably, I think road access provides that fair platform. It's quite difficult for us to give services to people who are landlocked, to give services to people who are living out in the outlying highlands. It's quite difficult without proper form of communication, proper access.
The Health Minister says access provides that fair platform where every other citizen of this country can have access to government services. Furthermore, Deputy Prime Minister John Rosso echoed Abau MP Sepuka Temu's sentiments, acknowledging that the program has been a stimulus package for the country's economy.
Naysayers say, what are you guys doing to grow the economy? Connect PNG is a prime example of what we've done to connect PNG and stimulate the economy in this country. Connecting PNG, we've just grown 100, Mr. Speaker. We've just made 100 millionaires, 100 Papua New Guinea contractors. Not any other contractor, but Papua New Guinean contractors from all walks of life.
Russell added to Health Minister Dr. Lino Tom's appeal for local contractors to raise the standards of operating.
But more so, our Papua New Guinean contractors, good Papua New Guinean contractors, and quoting again from the good member from Wabeg and the Minister for Health, that these contractors too must stand up and be professional and grow to meet the expectations and standards. It is not easy building roads. I say this with experience. I used to build roads before in my private time.
The Ministry for Works and Highways emphasized that the government prioritized expenditure areas so that PNG's scarce funding resources can achieve maximum impact on the economy and the lives of the people. The Supreme Court has made a decision to uphold the application of Henry Amuli to stay the decision by the National Court on January 24, 2023, and ordered that Amuli resume his substantive position as the MP-elect for Sohe and chairman of Sohe District Development Authority. Lawyer representing Amuli, Simon Dewe from Gemma Lawyers, clarified that now that the court has granted the stay and ordered Amuli to resume his responsibilities, Amuli now performs his role as MP representing the people of Sohe.
Court has made a decision to uphold the applicant's Henry Jones Amuli's application and granted the orders in terms of the application sought. So that is the first order, is to stay the enforcement of the entire decision issued by the acting judge on the 24th of January 2023. And the second order of the court basically allowed Henry Jones Amuli to resume office as member for SOE and chairman of SOE DDA. My appeal to the district now is to put politics aside. Let us all work together for the betterment of the people of SOE. It's not about me, it's about the people of SOE that waiting for the services. So my appeal to so-called politicians on the ground to campaign or whatever, my appeal to them is to leave politics aside and work with me to deliver to the people of Soya.
The National Capital District is rolling out the second phase of the Urban Youth Employment Project. It will take place in the Motu-Koite region and Moresby Northwest electorate. More than 300 youths have been given a second chance to redirect their lives to positive living and contribute meaningfully to Port Moresby's expansion in the region. The aim of the project is to enhance and maintain a quality standard of living and to promote a peaceful and harmonious coexistence in the community. NCDC is targeting youths who are out of the formal education system and especially those that reside in urban settlements. It is to improve the capacity of participating young men and women in project areas to engage in productive income-generating activities. The Fresh Produce Development Agency signed a partnership agreement on Wednesday, June 7, with Octedi Development Foundation to deliver a food security program in Western Province. The Memorandum of Understanding was signed between OTDF Chief Executive Officer Havili Vira and FPDA Chief Executive Officer Mark Warinu at FPDA's head office in Goroka.
With food security being the top priority for the mine communities, Octedi Development Foundation signed an agreement with Fresh Produce Development Agency to partner in implementing food security program in the South, Middle and North Fly Community Mine Continuation Agreement Trust regions of Western Province. The partnership will pave way for both parties to play their respective roles and responsibilities in ensuring that the CMCA people are empowered to have secured food sources to live improved livelihoods. FPDA will provide expert technical advice to build capacity of the participating communities through ongoing training on production, crop management, pest and disease control and prevention measures, distribution of seedlings, provide market information, advisory on new research, information on climate, and best farm practices and advisory on extension of the program. FPDA will also conduct assessment of market value chain or supply chain, viability of identified high-value crops within the CMCA corridor. FPDA Chief Executive Officer Mark Vorinu says as a government agency, they are in front of providing technical advice, extension services, outreach program, building capacity for our people to be able to help themselves, especially in food security and income opportunities, and cut down on imports, doing all this over the place.
We do have so many partnerships with districts and provincial governments, and quite recently though that we have been able to sign MOUs with some of the development partners, particularly with Santos. It was oil search, but then we transferred all the activities under the new banner, and things are ramping up.
OTDF CEO Avini Vira said OTDF was looking for a partner to support them deliver the food security program and appreciates the technical support from FPDA.
OTDF is blessed because we are supported by Octeri. We have field bases all the way down the Fly River, and we're able to launch programs such as food security. We do other work like education and work with women and children, health, all along the corridor.
Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
And now the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.2820 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, our kina was buying $0.2745 US, $0.4095 Australian dollars, $0.2491 euro, and 38.05 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, all closed higher except copper and crude oil closed lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher and the ASX closed lower. All ordinaries closed lower as well. This is TV1 News. We'll have news from overseas when we come back. Stay with us.
There's a sense of pride when you're able to do something right, a financial decision that has just really good benefits. With BSP Life Insurance, there's that alleviation of that worry when you pass away. The benefits of the BSP Life Insurance would meet those expenses on behalf of my family. If you're young and you have kids, you owe it to your children to make sure they're not left behind when you pass on.
With you for life. He loves the Maroons. He loves the Blues. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Laga, Bungim Yumi.
From the rich soils of the highlands, the finest coffee has been grown by generations of Papua New Guineans. Expertly blended and roasted with over 80 years of experience, making the finest cup of Nescafe New Guinea blend, PNG's own coffee. When you're spending time with family, when you've got a big day ahead, when you have given it all you've got, when you're putting on a feast, that's when you want the best. That's when you want flame rice. New flame rice. Win him, Olgeta.
Superstition ain't the way. No, 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 no. Beautifully down the ground. Up here, should take it.
And India have been brilliant.
Australia takes the opening test.
Have some of that. Oh, too good on that occasion.
Down there again, takes another beauty. Can't believe it.
They've won the third test match. They've made it to the final. The Oval awaits. Rubbers hits the upright, kicks again, he'll get there! St Johnson, he's got a double! Saab with the big loping strides, you cannot believe this, Manly are back level. Beautifully gathered by New, and there's the try, the Dolphins.
Welcome back. Troops from Fiji, Tonga and France will join US Marines and Japanese and Australian soldiers training in the Australian state of Queensland this month and next. Southern Jackaroo, an annual exercise between Marine Rotational Force Darwin and the Japanese and Australian armies, runs June 15 to July 15 at the Townsville Field Training Area in northeast Australia. An Australian Army spokesman said this year's exercise includes the military forces of Tonga, France and Fiji, demonstrating a commitment to partners not only through disaster relief, but also into security response planning. Southern Jackaroo deepens Australia's relationship with the US and Japan by having troops work together and practice responding to events in the region. This exercise demonstrates the growing strength and sophistication of engagement with allies and partners. An iconic island off the coast of Queensland has returned to its indigenous name. The World Heritage listed Fraser Island is once again called Kagi, which means paradise.
Under grey skies and a canopy of lush rainforest, traditional owners celebrate a historic moment. A day of high emotion for Butchulla elder Rosalind Howden and her granddaughter, named after the island.
I can't talk too much. Gary, you can talk, baby.
Both have waited a lifetime for this recognition of 60,000 years of history.
It feels really good and I really like that I got to come here today.
The landmark decision means the name Fraser Island will be replaced on maps, road signs and tourist information.
It's a turning point in our state's history as well. It really signifies that we are a progressive, modern Queensland.
The world's largest sand island was named after Eliza Fraser, who was shipwrecked here in the 1800s. Historians say her stories about the Aboriginal people she met led to dispossession and massacres, making the name Fraser Island a painful reminder.
We fought for this for a long time. Lots of generations have fought for this.
19 hectares of land has also been returned to traditional owners. More than 6,000 submissions were received through public consultation last year. About 70% were in favour of the change. The Butchulla people say today is not about renaming, but reclaiming their word for the island, paradise.
It's always been Gari to a lot of people, but now we know that it's Gari to all people, all over the world.
New York City's skyline has been veiled by a layer of thick yellowish haze from wildfires burning uncontrollably in neighboring Canada. It comes as Canadian officials ask other countries for help, fighting more than 400 blazes nationwide that already have displaced 20,000 people.
Not as bad here as it has been in New York City, but it is still pretty hazy. And while there are a lot of people where I am at the moment, a lot of tourists visiting this very famous part of Washington, D.C., it's not all that pleasant. These wildfires in Canada's east, hundreds of them that are still burning out of control, have forced thousands of people to evacuate their homes. But they're also causing large amounts of smoke to spread across Canada, affecting air quality in cities like Ottawa and Toronto. But that smoke is also moving further south to the point at which large parts of the United States are also affected. New York appears to be copping some of the worst of it. Those orange skies that we saw there earlier, I think as Mads said, are sadly too familiar to a lot of Australians who have lived through terrible bushfires. But for the east coast of the United States, it's highly unusual, and the mayor in New York City has really urged people to take precautions. Now, Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has today paid tribute to all of the first responders on the ground trying to bring these blazes under control. That has included a group of Australians. Australia is one of a number of countries that have sent teams of firefighters to Canada to assist the authorities there.
The South Australian government is considering a major overhaul of accessible transport services amid concerns of people being left stranded due to an unreliable system. People who rely on accessible taxis to get around say they're often left waiting hours, even if they're pre-booked, and have missed crucial appointments because they can't get a ride.
For Belle Owen, getting a taxi has never been straightforward.
Today I spend hours waiting for taxis, whether it's trying to get to a medical appointment, trying to get to work meetings. It doesn't really matter what it is. You can never tell if it's going to be reliable or not.
In one instance, she booked a cab in advance for major surgery, only to have it not arrive. Ms. Owen says the struggle to secure a fully accessible taxi is a long-running one, but little progress has been made.
There's so much conversation at all levels of government about inclusion, about making sure that buildings are accessible and making sure that employers are accessible, making sure that all of our places are inclusive. But if we can't even get there, what is the point?
She wants South Australia's taxi fleet to be made fully accessible within 10 years. The government says the problem won't be addressed in next week's state budget, but that it's looking for answers.
I can't fix what wasn't fixed in the last 4 years and the first 14 months of this government. But we are looking at it very, very seriously because I think there needs to be a comprehensive solution. We just haven't finished the work yet.
One option being considered is government intervention, with the Transport Minister considering establishing a fleet of publicly owned accessible vehicles rather than leaving it up to the private sector.
Like we have with Care Right, an on-demand system, potentially we can do that as well with disability access. This is all the solutions we're looking at.
We should be looking for ways to make our society more accessible.
The Taxi Council says a driver shortage has caused the industry's issues and that government subsidies will be required to make the service more economically viable.
And now the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Back home, regional forecast for the next 24 hours. Southern and New Guinea Islands region, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Mombasa region, isolated showers and thunderstorms becoming scattered over Medan and Morobe. Highlands region, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms with areas of rain. And that ends the news segment. In sports, women's OFC potential and hunters challenged. That's after the break.
It's in the highs and in the lows. It's in the big things and the small things too. It's hard to put into words, but you'll know it when you see it. Terrain tamer, when quality counts.
Start your day by doing the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate. Wake up. Brush your teeth. And smile. Smile throughout your day with Colgate.
You still have a chance to win with Digicel, Mad Money and more! Win over 560,000 kina in cash and prizes. Scalia! Yes, Digicel is giving you more cash and more prizes. There's 8 grand prize winners of 50,000 kina cash each, 100 winners of 1,000 kina cash each, plus 16 prize winners of water tanks and gensets. Yes, yeah! For your chance to win, top up by 5 kina or more, or buy a Huawei 4G LTE smartphone and you're in to win your share in Digicel's Mad Money of over 560,000 kina in cash and prizes. Only with Digicel. Better together.
Beautifully down the ground.
Up here, should take it.
And India have been brilliant.
Australia takes the opening test.
Have some of that. Oh, too good on that occasion.
Down there again, takes another beauty. Can't believe it.
They've won the third test match. They've made it to the final. The Oval awaits.
Great ball from Deverson, away for Corey. Juling, and the Chiefs will run it in for a third. Herman still going.
What a finish, what an outstanding... The fans are on their feet, they wait with bated breath. Lights out!
Into the museum corner.
Oh, Marquez has gone down! Marquez has clashed out! Marco Bezzecchi wins a phenomenal Grand Prix. He's the winner here. The fans are on their feet, they wait with bated breath. Lights out!
Into the museum corner.
Oh, Marquez has gone down! Marquez has clashed out! Marco Bezzecchi wins a phenomenal Grand Prix. He's the winner here.
Welcome back. Concerns were raised over the attendance of supporters in the Women's Oceania Football Confederation Champions League at the Sir Hubert Murray Stadium over the 3 rounds. However, President of the PNG Football Association, John Capinato, believes all is well. The PNG Football Association President, John Capinato, rules out the notion of poor attendance.
He says this is the inaugural championship and no one is expecting a huge turnout. He also says that the matches are played during the week where many people go to school and work, which makes it difficult for them to come and watch. He said this wouldn't be the same after 5 or 10 years when the women's OFC generates momentum and the fan base picks up in the region. For now, it is just a start. He said not many people know about it or follow it. President Capinato made this contrast to the men's OFC. He said, if this was the men's OFC, do you think the attendance would be the same? That's the difference. Capinato says he still believes in the women's OFC, and women's OFC can become like men's OFC in time. It can supply players to A-League in Australia and to other top leagues outside of the region, if all the MAs are committed and work towards building soccer in the region. Nevertheless, he said PNG FA is proud to host this historic event in sports and could host another one in the years to come. Meanwhile, PNG is praised for hosting the inaugural women's OFC in the iconic stadium like Sir Hubert Murray Stadium that has a world-class facility. The participating teams are privileged to have enjoyed the pitch. The inaugural women's OFC continues. Final matches will be played this Saturday, June the 10th, to round up the event. Moniplus Port Moresby AFL 2023 Premiership Cup resumes Game 8 this weekend after matches were cancelled last week due to unfavourable playing conditions. These matches will be played both Saturday and Sunday in senior men, A Reserve and women divisions. In the senior at 2 p.m. on Saturday, University takes on Tauranga Cats and Garau Magpies versus defending champions Bismarck Maritime, West Eagles at 4 p.m. Sunday's triple header will kick off at 1 p.m. TSI Lamana Dockers versus fast improving Avala Swans. At 2 p.m. Concept Koboni and Port Moresby power play before the main game between Gordon's Cocoa Fast and current competition leaders Garaka Bombers at 4 p.m. Meanwhile, after round 7, top 5 teams at Garaka Bombers on 24 points, TSI Lamana Dockers on 24 points, Gordon's Cocoa Fast on 22 points, Bismarck Maritime West Eagles on 20 points, and Garau Magpies on 16 points. In a significant show of support, Pacific Balance Funds Agro Business Limited has stepped forward as the proud sponsor of the Koyari Rugby League, contributing $10,000 in funds and providing valuable merchandise. This sponsorship makes a momentous occasion for KRL and sets stage as an exciting future.
The newly elected president of Koyari Rugby League, Anthony Abavu, received a dummy check of 10,000 kina from Pacific Balance Fund Agro Business Limited in a grand presentation held in front of KRL executives, game officials, respective teams, and an enthusiastic crowd of spectators. The atmosphere was electrifying as President Abavu expressed his deep appreciation to retired Major General Jerry Singirok, Director of Pacific Balance Fund Agro Business Limited, during the ceremony. President Abavu's heartfelt words of gratitude emphasized the significance of discipline, highlighting its importance regardless of political differences. His message struck a chord with all those in attendance, underscoring the shared values and unity within the league. KRL boasts an impressive track record of nurturing talented players and sending them to compete at the international level. With the support of Pacific Balance Fund Agro Business Limited, this legacy is set to continue. The sponsorship not only enables the league to train and develop young players, but also serves as a platform for them to showcase their skills on a global stage. Retired Major General Singirok, with his own illustrious rugby league background, revealed that he is no stranger to Sogeri Rugby League. In his glory days, he played in the second row position for Team Sogeri National High School in a memorable match against Yarrawari High School back in 1973. His personal connection to the sport further strengthens his commitment to supporting KRL. Salome Vincent, TVWAN Sports.
After coming off a tremendous win against the Tweed Seagulls last weekend, it's doubtful if the performance repeats this weekend as the PNG SP Hunters succumb to injuries and suspensions. The Hunters will return to the Santos National Football Stadium this Saturday, June 10th, to host the Western Clydesdales in round 13 of the QRL Hostplus Cup.
The match against Western Clydesdales kicks off at 3 p.m. this Saturday. The fixture is the third of 4 consecutive home games for the SP-PNG Hunters. The Hunters are expected to use home crowd advantage for a victory, but this won't come easy. Hunters head coach Stanley Tepand acknowledged the disruption caused by a series of injuries and suspensions, but is excited for the opportunities those changes present. He believes in the team, stating that spirits have been high at training this week following their big round 12 win over Tweed, but insists his team is still a work in progress. The Hunters will also carry a sense of confidence and belief into their round 13 matchup, having dominated the Tweed Seagulls 34-18 last weekend in their best performance of the season. The Western Clydesdales bring a very different form line into Saturday's match, having not tasted victory since besting the Ipswich Jets 46-10 way back in round 7. The Hunters were well represented last weekend by Junior Robb in the forward pack, who consistently put the team on his back in yardage to generate post-contact meters or second phase play. Judah Rimbu, Joshua Mire, Jamie Mavoko and Moria combined beautifully in attack to orchestrate a number of pleasing attacking actions. Hunters will be without Jamie Mavoko, who is under suspension, and a number of key players. Wesa Tenza, Ila Alu, Sherwin Tanabi, Junior Igila are on the injury list. The Hunters will run in a new-look team. If they can stick to their processes, the home crowd will be in for another exciting and entertaining contest for a win. Coach Teppan said it's an exciting opportunity for some of the younger players and some boys from Digicel Cup to come in and get their chance. Hunters utility Rimbu will start at halfback, and rookie 5'8" Joshua Mire will play in the halves beside Rimbu and 2 new faces at dummy half. Rimbu will shoulder the bulk of playmaking duties this weekend and can have a real impact on the Hunters' attack. Salome Vincent, TV1 Sports.
And that ends the sports segment tonight. Over to you, Maricela.
Thanks, Rex. That brings us to the end of this edition of TV1 News. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
The TV1 News was proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.